Marcus Garvey's legend grows, having survived an assassin's bullet. He marries Amy Ashwood on Christmas Day at Liberty Hall in Harlem. But their union quickly deteriorates, lasting only 3 months. Citing irreconcilable differences, Garvey files for divorce in early 1920. Garvey's second wife, also named Amy, like many, was attracted to his message and his impressive oratorical skills. She heard him speak for the first time at Liberty Hall in Harlem in the summer of 1919. She joins the growing organization, eventually assuming the role as personal secretary to Marcus Garvey. The two would marry 3 years later in 1922, after Garvey's divorce from Amy Ashwood was finalized. Amy Jakes Garvey would go on to play a pivotal role in the movement and advance the teaching of Garveyism long after her husband's death. Denied full participation in society, blacks increasingly looked to Garvey for workable solutions. The first International Convention of the Negro Peoples of the World responds to the clamor for change. The unprecedented convention took place over the entire month of August 1920 in New York City. At its first mass meeting, held at Madison Square Garden on August 1st, Marcus Garvey addressed a record crowd that would later proclaim him Provisional President of Africa.
25,000 people coming together from Africa, from the Caribbean, Europe, Latin America, to discuss the conditions facing black people throughout the world. And they came up with this important declaration. And the declaration shows the complications of the black situation. But there was a commonality. The commonality is that racial oppression was common to blacks wherever they were.
What we saw was a rise of incredible violence against black people, because black people weren't having Jim Crow. Black people were fighting for their rights, and the response was a lynching. On average, African Americans were lynched 1 every other day for 3 decades, because it was going to take that level of violence to try to get the black community to back off their demands for their full citizenship rights. So you've got this narrative that in America, if you work hard, if you do what you're supposed to do, if you build your economic basis, you too can have the American dream. I mean, we saw this in Tulsa in 1921 with Black Wall Street, where you had a black community that was thriving. And all that did was to anger the whites in Tulsa. Then a false charge of rape against a young black man, and then the next thing you know, as the photos talk about running the Negroes out of Tulsa, you have ethnic cleansing.
It's amazing how we've never been able to bring that coalition of people together that are prepared to say, I'm black, I'm proud, you going to Africa, count me in. Yeah, wow. And do it in Madison Square Garden. And have everyone there and say, let's go. And to listen to J. Hoover said, you know, this shit's serious. You know, these black folks, they think they're somebody. They think they're Americans. If they start thinking like that, we in a hell of a lot of trouble.
The name of Garvey had become known as a leader of his race. Such fame among Negroes was too much for other race leaders and politicians to tolerate. My downfall was planned by my enemies. They laid all kinds of traps for me. They scattered their spies among the employees of the Black Star Line and the Universal Negro Improvement Association.
In January 1922, opponents of Garvey had reasons to celebrate, as he and 3 officers from the Black Star Line Shipping Company were arrested and charged with mail fraud.
I think it was unjust to focus on Garvey's organization, and it was clearly politically motivated by J. Edgar Hoover. We have documents where he's written. Unfortunately, we've not found a way yet to put Garvey in jail or deport him. Why don't you look into a mail fraud claim, for example?
One of the things they tried was the denial of visa. When he traveled to Jamaica and the Caribbean in 1921, Hoover had advised that he shouldn't be allowed to re-enter, but that was overruled and he was returned to the United States.
The targeting of Garvey, also the trumped up charges, it's sad to say the state sees our potential, even on times when a lot of our own people don't see the potential. African people cannot have a conversation without acknowledging the counterinsurgency, the attack on our movements, attacks on our people. We're told to believe that the FBI was this entity that's going to mafioso and all that. No, J. Edgar Hoover denied that the mafia even existed. His whole career was built, off the attack of Garvey.
While awaiting trial during the summer of 1922, as groups like the NAACP devote resources to anti-lynching legislations, Garvey makes a very bold move. On June 22nd, in Atlanta, Georgia, he meets with the acting imperial wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, Edward Young Clark. When word of the meeting gets out, Garvey's detractors sharpen their attacks. Some of his most powerful enemies in the black community, led by former supporter A. Philip Randolph, organize a Garvey Must Go campaign to pressure the authorities to expel him from America.
The Universal Negro Improvement Association has been misrepresented by my enemies. They have tried to make it appear that we are hostile to other races. This is absolutely false. We believe that the black people should have a country of their own, where they should be given the fullest opportunity to develop politically, socially, and industrially. It is because of this belief, no doubt, that my Negro enemies so as to prejudice me further in the opinion of the public, wickedly state that I'm a member of the Ku Klux Klan, even though I am a black man.
Remember, Marcus Garvey comes to the United States the year after Birth of a Nation emerges as a film in the United States, a film that romanticizes the time when the Klan rode high, a film that was screened at the White House by Woodrow Wilson, who says, alas, it is all true. It is like history written with lightning. So when Marcus Garvey comes in and says, okay, I can look at the president who's being disingenuous. I can look at these white liberals, so to speak, who are our friends. Or I can talk to these guys in these white sheets who are friends with these other guys who in their same clubs, in their same political formations, bank at the same place, who say, we don't like niggers. It's okay, good. So if I talk to you, and we come to an agreement on everything from race mixing to where we won't cross the line. And if we make a deal, I can firmly then say that as their representatives, I have a deal with the rest of them.
So it's a hell of a way to look at it. I hope that's not true. I understood why he was making those alliances, because he wanted to physically go back to Africa, reestablish a country there, build industry there, have a prosperity that was rooted in the black community that they could control. And when he met the